Welcome back to Laughter in the Law. We haven't been introducing ourselves for these, but just in case anybody's forgotten, I'm Diane. I'm the office manager and her favorite daughter.
I'm Jackie Hauser, the attorney at Flexner Hauser Injury Law who handles our personal injury.
Yeah, and business owner.
Yes.
Yeah, you own Flexner Hauser Injury Law.
Yes.
I mean, badass businesswoman.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, we're close to the end of the year. Holidays are holidays are coming up fast,
Yeah.
and which means that the end of the semester is happening for a lot of our students, which I know they're just counting down the days. I know at the beginning of this, at the beginning of August, whenever we came back from our spring break, we talked about advice for non-traditional 1L students, which is first-year law students. But you also mentioned in that podcast how some people may have a non-traditional track now when going to school for law school. They could start late or be doing it part-time. And so there could be law students graduating in a few weeks and then immediately having to study for the bar. Or there could be ones that maybe didn't pass the bar the first time. And so they're about to start again on that 10 weeks of hell, which is how you described it in the other podcast. And so I think it'd be really great if you could, because I know you've mentored people before whenever they've been on this trek with preparing for the bar. And I know you've got a lot of sage advice you can give this next generation of students studying for the bar.
Yeah.
So take it away, Jackie.
Okay. Another reason that, once again, that I found out that a lot of people, maybe not a lot, but, a definite percentage of people put off till February taking the bar is because, a lot of times people are graduating and then getting married during that summer.
Oh,
and so,
yeah.
Instead of planning a wedding and trying to study for the bar, they just plan their wedding, get that out of the way, get their honeymoon out of the way, all that stuff out of the way. And then study for the bar, over Christmas. It's just all about your schedule. But, some people plan it that way, and it seems to work out for them. But the vast majority of folks do study for the bar during the summer. But for those folks who are, instead of looking forward to Christmas, they're looking forward to 10 weeks of bar prep. God bless you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did. I enjoyed mentoring folks studying for the bar, especially after I first passed, those first couple years, because I was still familiar with the test and things like that. I remember whenever we were taking the bar, we were one of the first years where they offered because I used Barbary, and there's different bar prep programs. I used Barbary, Barbri. They're kind of like the legends in bar prep. There's others that are just as good. But Barbary this was one of the first years that they used the self-study bar prep.
So you mean beforehand you had to go to class for bar prep?
Yeah.
Wow.
So before that, you went to class every day just like you were in class. You went to class every day and you listened to lectures. And you either watched live lectures or you watched videos of lectures.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds very dry.
Oh, yeah. So mine wasn't much better. Barbary shipped me an iPod. Remember those?
Oh, yeah.
So I had an iPod, had the earbuds, and a box of books. And so the whole summer I listened to the lectures. I did my workbooks. And so, it was kind of scary because we were, like I said, one of the first years, and people were like, ooh, how's this going to turn out with people self-studying for the bar?
Oh, you were the guinea pigs.
Yeah, we felt like guinea pigs. So I was just determined. I was like, I will pass the bar.
Yeah. On the first try.
That's right. I will not let this self-study defeat me.
Yeah.
But, whether you're doing self-study or whether you are live and in person, because one of my best friends, she was studying live and in person. I was doing self-study. And it's still 10 of the worst weeks of your life. And the biggest thing is it just has to be 10 more weeks of discipline. That's what you got to tell yourself.
But how long were you studying each day?
I probably listened to lectures, and this is really back in the deep recesses of my mind, things that you try to forget. But I probably listened to lectures maybe 3 to 4 hours a day.
Wow.
And then you did your workbook, where you made sure that you filled out your workbook with all the things that you talked about at the lectures. If you were unsure of some stuff, you'd go back and listen to it again. You made sure that your notes were right, your notes are good. And then you would do some practice questions. You usually would do practice multiple choice, which are called multi-state. So you're answering questions from all 50 states on the multi-state day. And then you're answering essay questions about your state, North Carolina. So you probably would do some multi-state questions and then some essay questions. And by the end of the day, you've probably put in a good 8 to 10 hours.
Wow. So you're not working right out of law school either.
Oh, no. No. You're studying for the bar. I didn't go to law school to work during that summer. I went to law school so I could study for the bar.
Wow.
So no.
It's craziness. 8 hours every day?
At least 5 days a week. You may only do half a day on Saturday. I don't know. You may do a whole day. I don't know.
Wow.
I did usually try to take Sunday off, or if not all of Sunday. You don't have to listen to lectures on Sunday, but I probably was doing some exam questions or things like that.
Okay.
So once again, like I talked about those non-traditional students going to law school, and I talked about the whole plan your fun thing. During that summer, you got to plan your fun, because there's not as much fun to be had until the day after the bar.
Yeah.
That's whenever my fun was planned. My fun was planned the day after the bar.
Wow.
I know folks who plan all kinds of great things that are going to happen the day after, and then you just wait for your results. But
you kind of need to plan something fun right after taking the bar too, because you want to take your mind off of the 2 or 3 days that you spent doing the bar.
Oh yeah,
like doing all those tests. You're like, you don't want to have to second guess yourself or be fretting about should I've said more in this essay or anything like that. Just distract yourself with some fun. And wait for the results.
Yeah. But there was always plenty to do while you're preparing for the bar. One thing that we did, and talking about advice to people preparing for the bar, was we went back, me and my friends that I was studying with, we went back and pulled all of the old essay questions for the North Carolina bar exam.
You can do that?
Yeah, they're in a data bank.
Oh, wow.
So you have to request, they may just be available with a click now, but back in my day, we had to request them and they had to send them to us, and then we shared them. So we were able to get access to all these old essay questions and, quote, the best answers. And so you would read the essay question, you would time yourself to make sure you could answer it in a certain amount of time, and then you would compare your answer to the best answer.
And these best answers were from real previous test takers?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Usually they'll choose, I don't know if they choose more than one or if they choose a top 3. I don't know. But usually they will choose somebody who had the best answer for each question. There was 12 questions that they could ask you on the essay exams. And so, they would choose the best, or maybe it was just because it was marked highest. I don't know.
Did you ever have a best answer?
I doubt it. Let's just say no one ever called me and said, congratulations, you had the best answer.
Oh, that's a shame.
That's fine. I can believe that I had the best answer.
That's right.
The good news is I had a good enough answer that it got me, that I passed the bar. So.
On the first try.
On the first try.
And we only celebrate that because, passing the bar in and of itself is a wonderful feat, regardless if you've taken it a couple of times. But the reason we're celebrating is because you didn't have to do it again.
Yeah. You never want to take it again. So obviously, if that's what you want to be as a lawyer, you do take it again and you learn. And some people, nerves get to you, whatever the case may be.
Some people are just bad test takers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So there's a plethora of reasons why, which usually has nothing to do with how well you know the law or how well prepared you are. But I don't know if I had the best answers, but I know I had good enough answers. So,
I think Jackie's the best. So I think it's safe to say that some of your answers were the best.
Okay. Well, no one ever notified me about that. I'll tell you that.
I think the balloons are deflated by now. I'm sorry.
The bar has changed a lot in different states since I took it, which is like almost 20 years ago. So it's changed a lot. So I almost, there's certain things that stay the same. I think that there's always going to be multi-state questions. I think you're always going to have state-specific questions. But there is now the national bar exam.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that national bar exam, it's called the uniform bar? Is it uniform or uniformed?
Uniform.
Uniform bar exam. And from what I understand, it's not a necessity, but if you kind of don't know where you want to go or you want to open up your options, then you can take this UBE, which is what they call it for short, and then depending on your grade, because certain grades are accepted by certain states, so you may not make it for this state, but this state will accept your grade.
Yeah, that's what I understand. See, we didn't have the UBE whenever I took the bar exam, so we just had the multi-state, which is where we took questions from all. We just had the multi-state from where we took questions from every jurisdiction.
Yeah.
What is the majority opinion, the minority opinion, what is common law, what is statutory, things like that. And so we took those kind of things. And so we didn't have the UBE. That's totally out of my wheelhouse, other than I know that, the pass rate depends on your score and whether or not you can be, even though it is uniform and you can take, and it can apply to all the states, like you just said, your score has a lot to do with that. So you may not be able to practice in all states depending on your score. Yeah.
And I've heard it's like incredibly hard.
Well,
I mean, because you're having to learn for something that's applicable for all states. So.
Well, so is the multi-state.
Okay, which is part of your own.
So was the multi-state. I mean, you had to know about all states in that as well.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, then you might as well take the UBE then.
Well, we didn't have the UBE.
Well, I mean, I know you did. I'm just saying in general now. Although I did read one. I was reading this off of a site that their whole business model is to help people study for the UBE, and also for just the bar exams in individual states. Think of like an SAT tutor on steroids. But they said that there's a 60% pass rate on the UBE.
Okay.
And so, I mean, that's just a little over half.
Yeah.
That would kind of scare me. But, and one thing to keep in mind too is that not every state accepts UBE scores. There's only, I think, currently only 39 states that accept UBE.
That's a pretty high number, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's more than half.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's significant, and I know that's been the push. There was even talk of the UBE whenever I was in law school. It just hadn't reached this kind of level before, but there was talk about it, and, it just wasn't an option for us. Another thing to think about whenever you're taking your bar is think about, where else do you want to practice? Because there's this wonderful thing called reciprocity.
Ooh, reciprocity.
Yeah,
$10 word.
That's right. So with reciprocity, that means that other states will allow you, usually it's with 5 years or 3 years worth of practice, other states will allow you to what we call waive in to their jurisdiction.
Okay.
You take a test or you take a course. And then you can waive into their jurisdiction once you've taken their course or their test. It's not as hard as a bar exam, but you do have to do certain things and meet certain criteria. And so depending on where you practice, your surrounding states may or may not offer you reciprocity, and that's going to depend on like where you live. We're in North Carolina, and I can guarantee you that almost every attorney that practices in Charlotte, which is right near the South Carolina line, they're dually licensed. They're licensed in North Carolina as well as South Carolina. Now, unless the rules have changed and I'm not aware of it, there is no reciprocity between North Carolina and South Carolina.
So they had to take the bar twice.
You have to take both bars. Yes.
North Carolina and South Carolina.
Yes.
Woo!
And the South Carolina bar is an extra day. I think it's 3 days, or at least it was whenever I last checked. So it's not just 2 days; it's 3 days, and then you have to take the North Carolina bar, and usually you have to take that at a different time because they're both offered at the same time.
Oh.
Which I can't imagine studying for both at the same time anyway.
Yeah.
So, that's a tremendous commitment. But if that's, if you're going to live near a state border, that's something to think about.
Yeah.
And so reciprocity is always a wonderful thing. So you don't have to take another bar.
What about Virginia?
Well, thank you. I was getting to that, and I appreciate you reminding me. For the longest time, North Carolina and Virginia didn't have reciprocity. And, of course, I went to law school in Virginia and wanted to practice there, would have loved to practice there. But, a lot of times once you take one bar exam, you're like, whoop, done, peace out.
Yeah.
Past that. I'm not going to try it again.
Yeah.
And so there was no way I was going to take the Virginia bar. It's one of the hardest bars. And when we say that every single time we take a bar exam, but it really is. It's very hard. It's very difficult. And so, anyway, several years ago, I was having a conversation with somebody and they mentioned that, we had reciprocity with Virginia. And I was like, no, we don't. No, we don't. Well, come to find out we did. Long story short, we did. And I could not fill out the application fast enough.
Wow.
I was like, it's something I'd always wanted. And so with the Virginia reciprocity, they had a very long course that you had to take. And you had to, there was proof, you had to supply proof that you took it and affidavits and stuff like that. But they were allowing reciprocity, and North Carolina lawyers were just flooding across the border to get admitted to the Virginia bar.
Wow.
It was pretty cool. I was admitted, I think there was probably 22 of us the day that I was admitted.
Wow. Just
through reciprocity, and they take you to the Virginia Supreme Court. So I haven't used it as much since moving to Wilmington. I'm a lot farther away from the northern border than I was before. But I did enjoy it, and it's, once again, I wouldn't have gotten it without reciprocity. So that's just another thing to keep in mind that prevents you, maybe some bar student, some law student enjoys taking bar exams. It wasn't a fun thing for me. But reciprocity is always an option where you can waive into a jurisdiction once you've completed your bar.
Is there any kind of expiration date on that? Like if you don't practice in Virginia for so many years, it kind of gets taken away or expires and you have to reapply? As
long as you keep up with the rules of court and the rules of professional conduct, no.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. But that's, it's kind of, it's just advice for studying for the bar and basically.
So let's recap then.
Yeah.
Plan your fun.
Yeah. Not going to have a lot of it.
Not going to have a lot of it, but, budget your time. Definitely, whether you're self-studying or doing a class, make sure that you're putting in that time. You're doing the test questions, the sample test questions, the essays.
Yeah. And do those every day. Every day. It should be in your schedule, but every day you need to do multiple choice and time yourself. And then go back and figure out which answers you got right and which answers you got wrong, but they'll have explanations. I even like to look at the explanations on the ones I got right to make sure my logic is the same as the test. I don't want to just say, I guessed at that and I got it right. Woohoo. No, I want to know why I got it right. So, yeah, even on the days, and that's some things I would do like on Saturdays whenever maybe there wasn't as heavy a schedule. Take those hours that you need and time yourself in testing. So that you can be as prepared as possible for those multiple choice, critical thinking things, as well as for your essay exams.
And on the days of the test, what's some advice to give to be successful on the day? Because you've done all the studying you can. You've crammed your head with as much information as you can. It's now a matter of pouring it onto paper. So what can you do to set yourself up for success on those 2 days?
The bar is going to send you a specific list about all the things that you need, all the things that you can bring, and all the things that you cannot bring. Don't deviate from that list.
That's a good, we could use that in a lot of examples of life. Don't deviate.
Do not deviate. They are not joking.
Yeah. Okay.
You are going to mess up if you deviate.
Are there plenty of bathroom breaks? So stay hydrated, plenty of bathroom breaks kind
there's
of thing?
plenty of bathrooms. I don't know because I made sure that I didn't drink a lot, so I didn't have to get up a lot.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't want to waste, first of all, that's a good point because where I was in the auditorium, it would have taken me 5 minutes to get to a bathroom.
Because walking past everyone that's in the row.
I was not near a bathroom.
Okay.
I knew where the bathrooms were, but I wasn't near them. And so that would have wasted 15 minutes of my day.
Yeah.
That's a question. That's question time.
Oh, okay.
No, that's 15 minutes is time to answer a question.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah.
No, I'm not drinking anything.
Okay. And obviously get a good night's rest, but
Oh, sure, yeah.
but I doubt you are whenever you're so worried and stressed about the test the next day.
Yeah, no, but
What about arriving early or?
Yeah, you do that. I mean, make sure you're not stressed out about that because, like we were in Raleigh, traffic was horrible. It was, 8 o'clock in the morning, rush hour traffic. Just.
Do they lock the doors, like if you don't arrive on time or
I don't think you, I don't remember because I wasn't one of those people, but I don't think you can be let in late. So everybody's going to start at the same time. Everybody's going to stop. Mm-hmm. At least on the first day, everybody stops at the same time. Mm-hmm. Second day, if you finish early and you're like 30 minutes early, you can leave. But if you're not, if you're in that last half hour, you couldn't leave. You just had to sit there quietly. But, for instance, I can't remember this specifically, but I don't think we could bring our own snacks or water or anything like that. But I just made sure I had them in the car. Mm. Now, my water was 110 degrees by the time I got back out there.
Yeah.
But at least I had a bottle of water. Yeah. And then we had some friends who would bring us snacks or bring us lunch during the lunch hour.
Oh, that was nice.
It was very nice, yes.
Okay.
And so the next year, whenever I had friends taking the bar, that's what I did. I was the lunch buddy, and I took. And it's something you just need to do. You just need to take lunch just do something nice for folks who are struggling with the worst 2 days of their life.
Yeah. So, any other pieces of advice, or you think you're good? Think they're ready, set for success?
Study, study, study. Practice, practice, practice.
All right. Sounds good.
Get it done.
Well, thank you again for sitting down with me. Thank you for joining us for Laughter in the Law.
Yeah, where we talk about the law with a lighthearted twist.